Princess Eugenie is marrying long-term partner and fiancé Jax Brooksbank this October. Will she take his last name and become Mrs. Eugenie Brooksbanks, or will she keep her princess title? The daughter of Prince Andrew and Sarah Ferguson, Princess Eugenie, 28, is getting married this year to Jack Brooksbank, 32, at Windsor Castle. The couple have been together for 8 years, after meeting in Verbier when Eugenie was just 19. While Eugenie is the granddaughter of Queen Elizabeth II and therefore a blood royal, Jack is of non-royal birth. Much like Eugenie's cousins William and Harry's brides, Kate Middleton and Meghan Markle, Jack was born a commoner. It is tradition for the woman to take the man's name upon marriage, making it a less surprising transition for both Meghan and Kate when they married the princes. But with Eugenie marrying a non-royal man, it could get complicated, with Eugenie having to decide what name she will take when she marries Jack, and how he will react to the move. The royal family has a history of marrying non-royals, with names of royal women usually still involving their title, but with their husband's name also added on. Speaking exclusively to the Express, CO. UK Caroline Harris, royal historian and author of Raising Royalty, 1000 Years of Royal Parenting, revealed the history of female royal marrying commoners, and the names they chose to take. Princess Eugenie may become Her Royal Highness Princess Eugenie, Mrs. Jack Brooksbank when she marries, explained Caroline. And there are many reasons behind that choice of name. Explaining the reasons, Caroline said, when Queen Victoria's fourth daughter Princess Louise married the Marquis of Lorne in 1871, she became the first British princess to marry a non-royal spouse since Henrietta's younger sister Mary married Charles Brandon, Duke of Suffolk in 1515. Princess Louise was styled Her Royal Highness the Princess Louise, the Marchioness of Lorne. The historian revealed that since the 19th century, princesses who marry commoners have usually retained the title of princess but added their husbands' names to their titles. The Queen's cousin Her Royal Highness Princess Alexandra of Kent became Her Royal Highness Princess Alexandra, the Honourable Mrs. Angus Ogilvy. When she married in 1963, she then became Her Royal Highness Princess Alexandra, the Honourable Lady Ogilvy when her husband was created a Knight Commander of the Royal Victorian Order in 1988. There are however exceptions to this approach, and Eugenie could also choose to forego her title altogether, becoming Lady Eugenie Brooksbank. In 1919, Queen Victoria's granddaughter Her Royal Highness Princess Patricia of Connaught chose to relinquish the title and style of princess when she married Alexander Ramsay, informed Caroline. She was henceforth styled Lady Patricia Ramsay but received the precedence accorded to a princess at official events. Despite not being of royal birth, Jack Brooksbank had a privileged upbringing, being educated at £12,000 per term Stowe School in Buckinghamshire. Speculation is also rife as to whether or not Jack will get a title when he marries Princess Eugenie, again impacting the name Princess Eugenie will take after her wedding.